Outrage and calls for a boycott of Ulta Beauty. And now, as an aside, Estee Lauder. The Ulta Beauty boycott comes as a new podcast was released by the beauty company called The Beauty Of. This episode was The Beauty of Girlhood, hosted by two adult males, one gender fluid and one transgender male. This resulted in many women saying it was woman face, it was offensive, and it has more to do with the individual, this Dylan Mulvaney, than it does, I think, for the most part, transgender individuals doing the podcast in general. And what I mean by that is Dylan Mulvaney is seen as being extremely offensive to women because it's not just a trans person. It's someone who has been accused of overhyping and mocking what it is that women go through with their lives. So there's a few videos that have gone viral. One where Dylan Mulvaney is running around in a forest or like in a field going like, I'm a girl and trees love them, logs love them. And it's not like a thing that women actually do. That's the complaint. The complaint is that what Dylan is basically doing is creating a cartoon version of a woman who is really, really, I don't know what the right word is, but excessive. You know what I mean? Like Bugs Bunny is to rabbits. That's what they accuse Dylan Mulvaney of being. And now they're calling for a boycott. I do think there is something inherently odd about complaining about mansplaining for 10 years, which is when men tell women, you know what mansplaining is, right? It's like a guy will explain something to a woman that a woman already knows. Isn't that this thing? I mean, look, you have two males. By all means, they're in their right and more power to them to come out and be whatever they want to be. But isn't this like an affront to the social justice crowd that you have two adult males with no females present talking about the beauty of girlhood, and it's all from this outsider perspective? One of the big complaints, there's a lot of complaints about Dylan Mulvaney, is that the individual made videos about carrying around copious amounts of tampons and then referred to genitals, female genitals, as Barbie pouches, something that this individual doesn't have. So, okay, let's try and get through this story, and I'll break it down for you. But there's a lot going on here. Now there's a call for a boycott of Estee Lauder for the same reason. But I can give you the real simple reason as to why this is all happening. Market expansion. It has nothing to do with trans people. It has nothing to do with men or women. It has everything to do with selling products to a larger market share. I'll get into that, but let's read the news first. From TMZ, Ulta Beauty tried promoting inclusivity by posting a clip of a transgender woman discussing femininity. But the internet doesn't seem to be having it, now calling for a boycott. The company promoted a new digital campaign they're running called The Beauty Of, their latest entry being about girlhood, hosted by influencer Dylan Mulvaney. No, guest starring. The host is actually David Lopez. They say hosted by Dylan Mulvaney, who's trans, and gender fluid celeb hairstylist David Lopez, sitting down podcast style for the chat. Let me play a clip of this for you so you can hear.
Now I know I can find love. I know I can still be a performer. I know that I can have a family. I want to be a mom one day, and I absolutely can. And that's why the narrative still has a long way to go, because when I was grieving Boy Dylan, I didn't know those things were even accessible to me. Now
so that's just one component. And of course, this is the clip that's resulted in a major ratio and calls for a boycott. In the promo clip from Thursday, Dylan is briefly heard discussing things she feels are still accessible to her as a trans woman, including being able to find love, still being a performer and having a family, being a mother, all of which she believes she can totally do. It's part of a longer video that's up on their YouTube page in which Dylan goes into detail about her recent transition and roots, apparently growing up in a super conservative family, and detailing how she came to find inner beauty and the guts to show it off publicly. The reason I think a lot of people are offended by Dylan Mulvaney explicitly, and not someone like Blair White, for instance, is that Dylan Mulvaney is accused of acting in a way that would be like an Onion video. And look, I think people can act however they want, but I want to put it this way. The Onion put out a video where it's like, okay, hold on, rewind. Like 10 years ago, a video went viral and it was called like 5 hours of walking through New York as a woman. And it was a woman walking down the street. Someone in front of her had a camera, had a backpack with a camera in it. And guys were walking up to her and being like, "Sup, girl?" and things like that. The video went crazy viral. And I guess the idea was to show men what women go through because men don't get it. Although many accused the video of being kind of silly because there was a part where like a guy's on the phone and he walks past her and he's like, yeah, nice. And it's like, he's clearly not talking to her, but they really hammed it up. But anyway, yeah, I think it's fair to point out that women probably get a lot of that stuff. In response to this, The Onion made a video called 5 hours, or was it like 10 hours? I don't know, of walking through New York as a man. In this video, people are cheering for the guy. Someone hands him a crown. Someone throws him a football. People lift him up and they're cheering for him. And it was considered a joke. That's what people have accused Dylan Mulvaney of doing with many of these videos, notably the one where Dylan is just prancing through a field and then it's like, oh no, a bug, and like falls down. People are offended by that because there are many, what's the word? Is it entomologists? Is it the right word? Or is it etymologists? Entomologists, I think, the study of insects. Like there are women who work in the wilderness. There are women who are, so what they see here is someone over like mocking women, basically. You know what I mean? Like imagine if you dressed up like a black person, like blackface, and then went around talking about eating fried chicken. It's deeply, deeply offensive. And it's just not okay. That's what they're claiming Dylan Mulvaney is actually doing and getting away with it. Notably, when Dylan Mulvaney referred to women's private parts as their Barbie pouch and joked about having to carry around a bunch of menstrual products that Dylan had said didn't use. So that's the issue right here. People are like, this person is like, I guess they view Dylan as not really a trans person, but as someone who's mocking them, like insulting them and getting away with it. And I brought up Blair White for a reason, because Blair White does get a lot of hate, but more so for conservative politics. Like conservatives actually like Blair White. Not all of them, obviously, because not many conservatives don't like the idea of transgenderism. But a lot of people who don't like Dylan Mulvaney will or do like Blair White. So the issue here is not being trans. It is the attitude and the insulting demeanor, which they accuse Dylan of doing. They say the problem, some say Dylan and Ulta by extension is appropriating womanhood and simply wearing it as a costume, which is pissing off a good amount of folks who are up in arms about this and swearing to never buy Ulta products again. Some personal friends of mine have outright said they're not going to buy Ulta. Several people are bashing Ulta and Dylan, saying things like she's actually a man and other hurtful remarks, to which Ulta is asking for dignity and empathy. A line they're repeating in the comments is, at Ulta Beauty, we believe that beauty is for everyone, and we kindly request that everyone be treated with the respect of our channels. We don't tolerate transracialism, but we do tolerate transgenderism. And there is a question there. Now, this issue came up years ago because there was a psychologist, or I think it was a psychologist, who broke down transracial and transgender and the symptoms, and they were very, very much the same. The argument put forward by many people was that if you're white and you don't actually have any black ancestry, you're not, like the trans is not inherent to you, whereas someone who is male or female and feels that they're actually the other gender or sex, that's actually DNA within your body. And that is. No, hold on. I guess females, well, actually, I don't know. Look, don't ask me. I'm not an expert. If you're female, you don't actually have the Y chromosome, but if you're male, you actually have the X chromosome. So I don't know, man. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on psychology and know how any of this stuff plays out. All I can tell you is what people are expressing and how they feel about this. And people are basically stating that what Dylan Mulvaney does is woman face. It would be akin to painting your face black and then joking about, fried chicken or something. There are transracial people like Rachel Dolezal. Nobody tolerates that stuff, transracialism. But I'm wondering, how long until that becomes something. Ulta is also saying they believe beauty has no boundaries, but it seems some of the comments are in fact crossing the line because there are several hidden replies. Ulta has also officially responded, quote, "We believe beauty is for everyone. And while we recognize some conversations we host will challenge perspectives and opinions, we believe constructive dialogue is one important way to move beauty forward. The intersectionality of gender identity is nuanced, something David and Dylan acknowledged themselves within the episode. Regardless of how someone identifies, they deserve our respect." Well, no, I'm going to pause right there and say respect is earned, not deserved. So if Dylan does something that I think is worthy of respect, then by all means, Dylan is deserved of it. The question is, has Dylan done something that is worthy of respect? Well, that's up to you, I suppose. But I want to tell you exactly why Ulta Beauty is doing this. And it's actually quite simple. I didn't want to do this. I don't care to do a segment where people are complaining about boycotting something because of a trans person or anything like that. There are people who don't like Dylan Mulvaney. I get it. It's two males hosting a podcast on girlhood. Many people found that offensive. I'll tell you what this is really about. And the reason why I find this interesting, market share. That's it. Bottom line, market share. So I host a podcast and a talk show, and I have on this channel like 1.1 something million subscribers. The Tim Pool channel has like 1.3 million, and Timcast IRL has I think almost 1.4 million. And, I think to myself, man, we work hard every day. I work about 16 hours every day. I work very, very hard. I have very little time for anything, and it's rough. It is. But why is it that there are other channels that have so many more subscribers and do such less work? It can be frustrating, can't it? Well, I got to be honest. For me, I just do my thing. I've always just done my thing. I make content. The reality is market share. What is the market share for middle-of-the-road politics? Small. That's a reality. Leftist podcasts, 5-10 million subscribers. Famous comedians doing podcasts, 5-10 million subscribers. Staunch conservatives, 5-10 million subscribers. Middle-of-the-road, centrist, libertarian-ish, about 1 million. That's the market share. It's a lot harder to grow channels that don't just outright pander to whichever side. I'll give you an example. We'll throw some criticism around. We'll spin it around in a big circle for everybody. You get someone like Hassan Piker, the biggest leftist streamer. Huge, millions of dollars. He did a video analyzing a song that I made. He was insulting towards it. Not the worst. He did say he's like, that's great. But then he said, no, he doesn't get it, and was just overall negative in his opinion. His followers said things like, oh, no, I really liked that song. I didn't realize it was Tim Pool. Hassan reviewed a song that has millions of views. And actually another really good example, Only Ever Wanted, the song we put out. I think this was in August. Was it in August or was it September? I can't remember. Wow. Maybe it was September. We put it out. It charted on rock, alternative, and rock and alternative. It charted on top digital sales. So it did really, really well. It got like 1 million something views. And for the first, second single we released chart, it was actually great. They write articles saying it's bad. That's left tribalism. There's a big market share for it. It doesn't matter if your product is good or bad. They are going to buy it, and it's massive. On the right, you have pander, say whatever, agree with Trump, pander to all that stuff, and you will go far. It's not entirely the same on the right, mind you. You have more dissenting opinions and a tolerance towards accepting of those dissenting opinions, which gives you a bigger variety. But one example that I'll use is Candace Owens. I like Candace Owens. I know her, and I think she's really great. My opinion of her was good, and then I met her and went on her show, and it went to fantastic. However, criticism where it's due. Donald Trump came out and said it should be a crime to burn the American flag. Candace Owens agreed with him. I think that's pandering. Now, maybe she agrees, but I think it is free speech. If you own a flag and you can safely burn it, fine by me. What I don't agree with is when people burn flags in the middle of the street. The issue here is market share. If you're a conservative, there's a big conservative base. I get ragged on all the time by the diehard Trump supporters. They don't like me. A lot of core Trump supporters do. They do like Timcast IRL. But the staunchest of Trump supporters go to patriots.win. Not fans. But hey, they're allowed to. And we tolerate that. On the left, they'll just hate me no matter what I do because that's the market. This is what Ulta is doing. The business executives came down and said, who are we selling our products to? And they said, post-menopausal women, market share goes down. Later in life, women, they're probably going to buy makeup less, maybe wear less. Younger girls, probably not buying all that much. It's really going to be that 18 to 54 key demo. And you're getting a lot of teenage girls too. And they said, but that's only half the population. Someone came in and said to the executives, this is my opinion, by the way, and what happened, guys, I'm telling you where you're missing out. Males. Males need to use makeup. So all of a sudden you see a bunch of dudes on YouTube wearing makeup, whether they're trans or not. Some are gay men, some are just gender fluid, and some are trans. All of a sudden you have males who are like, we need to wear makeup. This massively increases beauty product market share. So Why are they doing this show with two males talking about girlhood? They want to sell more product. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you capitalism, maximizing that market share. It's brilliant. Now, they will probably lose less customers than they will gain from any boycott. So they don't care about you when you're angry. Now, we also have, I think we've got women face trending. We've got this one. So right now, Boycott Estee Lauder is trending alongside Boycott Ulta Beauty. This person said, first Ulta Beauty, now this. Why are these makeup companies obsessed with men dressing up as women? As a woman myself, this is disgusting. I'm boycotting Estee Lauder and Ulta Beauty. Market share. Someone responded, anyone can wear makeup, Kayla, and that's true. In order to actually sell to men, you need a culture of males who wear makeup. So what do these companies do? Lean heavily into transgender ideology. So this is what I'm telling all of the conservatives. I said this before. The future is going to be probably a bit more libertarian, but there's going to be tons of trans stuff for a variety of reasons. Capitalism being one of them. Major corporations will pump as much money as possible into promoting TV shows and culture that encourage males to also wear makeup. And this definitely does. Non-binary, gender fluid, all of it. Wear makeup. They're going to sell more of it. But it's good across the board for everybody. Look, what do guys wear? I'm sure, like, you could probably picture a guy in your head. He probably wears the same thing every day, doesn't even care about making himself look good, just throws a hat on or something. Every single day, it's going to be jeans and probably like a raglan t-shirt, probably the same clothes. Now, if you're a clothing manufacturer, you're looking at this dude and he's wearing like a beanie, a raglan, and jeans, and you're like, this guy wears the same thing every day. We can't sell anything to him. So what do? Where they can go in terms of expanding market share is they got women, and women wear different. They got a bunch of different clothing where they have skirts, jeans, shorts, dresses, pantsuits, whatever. They got women have like shirts that like I don't even understand. Like there's that shirt where like it doesn't even go over your shoulder, and like then they have like tank tops, and then they have like sports bras, and like you see women going around. It's always something different. Guys, they have like short sleeve, long sleeve. No. The big thing for guys is whether it's a V-neck or not. And V-necks, don't wear it. Typically, guys just wear T-shirts. That's it. T-shirt and jeans. Easy enough. No variety. So what do they sell, guys? T-shirts with logos on it. That's about it, I guess. Well, if you can convince males to start wearing different kinds of clothes, then you will massively increase your market share. And that's why this is what you are going to see. There is nothing that's going to change this. Woman face is trending because people are deeply offended by this. Women, mostly. Actually, no, I think women and guys are. One person tweeted, these are not girls or women. These are grown biological men, and this is mental illness. These companies that primarily rely on biological women keep trying to erase us. Don't you get it? Megapint Molly on Twitter with 190 retweets. They don't want to rely on you. They want everyone to buy their product. So call it whatever you want. A male that wants to wear makeup will be a valuable customer of Ulta Beauty. And I will tell you right now, there's certainly not enough trending boycott Ulta that's going to have an impact on this. So you will find with major corporations dumping money into promotional stuff like this, the boycotts won't work. In the end, I ask you this, how many people actually care? The average woman doesn't care that people are upset about trans people. The average woman is going to say, I just need number 121 foundation or whatever. And then they're going to put it on their face and they're going to be like, I don't know, I need foundation. Then as Ulta starts targeting the trans community and the gender non-binary community, and they start going to younger people saying, hey, you can wear makeup too. These people are going to choose to or choose not to. But at any rate, if they choose not to, they weren't buying the product anyway. The end result is Ulta will make more money. So by all means, you can criticize it. You can call it out. But in the end, it is an expansion of market share. Now, I understand the arguments. When you look at someone like Dylan Mulvaney, you know, this is an individual who is being accused of producing what is essentially what people are saying is a mockery of womanhood. There's viral videos of carrying around tampons and opening them up and then mocking them. That's what people are saying. They find it deeply offensive. I get it, man. I get it. I don't have the answers to this stuff. I can only tell you this. I think people should be allowed to do whatever they want as long as they're not hurting other people. I think more power to Dylan Mulvaney. Be who you are, Dylan. More power to you. Do your shows. If you don't like a podcast, don't watch it. If you don't like a product, don't buy it. And more importantly, if you're concerned about where culture is going, it is simple. Speak out and build culture, challenging or presenting what you think is better. And that's the reality. But I don't know, man. I don't know if there's anything you can do about this. Right? For the people who are upset, look, culture will change. If you don't like it, don't watch it. That's the reality. So what do? I think the issue is parents, homeschool your kids. Make sure you know what they're reading and watching. Don't give your kids cell phones. It's that simple. And then to everybody else, hey, man, do your thing, I guess. I'll do mine. I'll mind my own business. I don't care if people want to have their own podcast and talk about stuff, but I understand why they're angry. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/Timcast. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.